This is my most important video yet, and that is not an overstatement. In this video, we'll discuss the exact system for you to follow with practical steps along with writing exercises throughout to build a life you're obsessed with. This is the exact system that I followed personally for the last 7 years to then be able to graduate with both my bachelor's and master's in biomedical engineering simultaneously with a neuroengineering concentration at the top of my class. It's what's enabled me to build a business that's generated over $1 million before even graduating. It's what's enabled me to build an incredible audience of over 7 million people across my platforms. It's what's enabled me to be able to work with 3 top medical companies while also being offered a founder position for a medical device startup company. It's what's allowed me to write a major publication. It's what's allowed me to be able to pay off my entire family's lifelong debt along with my own student loan debt before graduating. So get your notes out. This is the video that you've been waiting for. Hello everyone, my name is Jun Yu. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Today's video is an extremely important one of mine. It's one that I've been constantly contemplating on how to perfectly articulate because I truly believe the message is highly connected to my calling. I've promised my team that I'll do my very best to keep this video short and digestible, but if you had me talk as long as I could for this, I'd probably go on for days. It's something that I constantly think about. It's something that I've truly built a foundation on. It's something that I owe all of my success to. If you have any questions throughout this video, please leave your comments below. Give this video a thumbs up and of course, subscribe. Before we discuss what this system is, I believe that it's more effective to speak on what it's not. Why? Well, it's because the pursuit of the counter opposite of my system is much more prevalent and popular in our society today. You see, my system is not about fame, it's not about status, and it's not about money. Because if not careful, fame comes with ego, status comes with arrogance, and money comes with greed. Let me explain. You see, these external successes that tend to be glorified can be good. It can enable you to pay off your entire family's lifelong debt like it did for me. It can enable you to take care of those that you love. It can enable you the time and financial freedom to spend quality time with your friends and family while being able to also pursue your passion projects. But just as much as it can be a gateway for a lot of good, it can also be a gateway for a lot of evil. It's so easy for us to compare ourselves, right? With the fact that we scroll and then we see a 14-year-old making $20,000 a month with drop shipping, and for some reason that becomes a healthy expectation for us to pursue. You see, because if we don't have those types of financial earnings by that age, then something must be wrong with us. Except that you have to be extremely careful about the hidden secrets that are occurring behind the scenes. You have no idea if they have the actual responsibility and high quality character to be able to sustain a level of growth of that nature. You have no idea if they could even maintain it. You see, you have no idea what that'll do to their perspective as they continue on to new phases of their lives. You see, I think a really practical example of this is one that I can pull from memory that seems like such a vivid experience that happened yesterday, when in reality, it's been quite a long time. I believe that this story is one that you can easily resonate with, whether there's someone in your life that's done this or because you've just been in an environment with other people in our generation that you know that type of conversation tends to be common. You see, the story that I want to discuss is one that comes from an individual that I had mutual friends with, and he had sparked a conversation that sounded something along the lines of, hey, isn't this girl so attractive? Only if I could have some time with her, in the most PG way of describing that. And this person had a girlfriend. He had followed up that statement by saying, of course, I would never cheat. This is just me expressing myself. And fast forward, and I lost contact with this individual as I removed myself from this circle, but I heard about his situation because he quickly had grown to a level of success as our society defines it to be. So that fame, that status, and that money. It wasn't all that surprising when I heard that he cheated on his partner. I tell you this story because it highlights my hypothesis. I believe that we confuse high quality character for a lack of opportunity. Just as much as these external successes can open the gateway for a lot of good, it can open up the gateway for a lot of evil. Those opportunities now, when he scrolls through his direct messages, he has thousands of people that want his attention. So it's a lot easier for him to cheat. You see, but this type of example doesn't solely reside in the context of infidelity. It applies in everything. A lot of times, what success tends to do is that it increases your opportunity, it increases your accessibility, and you make the wrong choices because you haven't developed the right type of character to be able to maintain the success that you've developed, and perhaps you've even lucked into more than anything else. It doesn't allow you to make the proper decisions to be able to sustain your level of growth, and it certainly doesn't allow you to create a life that's fulfilling to you, because that life that you've now curated was not a life that was derived from your own values. It was derived from a societal expectation for you to pursue these external successes mindlessly. And I wish that I could jump through the screen and shake your shoulders and tell you to listen very, very carefully, because this system will wake you up to this nightmare. This system will help you prevent it from ever happening. This system will ensure that this is not a situation that you will ever have to experience. You are going to be the few versus the many, and I believe that's where my calling is. I believe that my calling is to be able to lead a generation of the few. You see, in our society where so many people are pursuing these external successes blindly, I know that there are people out there that are watching right now that want something more, that have seen loved ones being lost to the pursuit of these external successes. You want something more, and that's what this system will provide. So let's get right into it. Step 1, define your internal categories and how they will look in 5 years. Your 3 internal categories will be the mind, the body, and the spirit. Let's first start with the mind. I truly believe everything in life is a skill, from empathy to discipline and consistency. These are skills that you can build. They're not naturally gifted for only a select set of individuals. No, it's something that you can build with the right type of effort and action on a daily basis. So knowing that learning is the bridge between your life that you currently live and the life that you eventually want to be obsessed with, because you can learn those skills associated with that journey. Ask yourself this: in 5 years, which skills do you want to have learned? And as we go through these questions, even just pause right now, get a piece of paper out and go through these exercises along with me, because I promise you it'll be well worth your investment up front to be able to have a life that I truly believe will be aligned with you. Now let's move in to the body. True success is longevity, and that can only be achieved through health. Trust me when I say that anybody can have success over a period of a week, a month, 6 months, a year, even 2 years, maybe 5 years. But it's when you can stack up year after year after year after year that you're actually going to build a legacy. And that requires an ability to have endurance, to be able to face the hardships and the challenges of the day-to-day. So ask yourself this: in 5 years, what does your dream body look and feel like? Now the third is spirit. Purpose is your life's compass. It's what ensures that you remain aligned with your value system. And this one is the utmost importance in the digital era, where we're constantly surrounded by distractions. And your focus, your attention is the currency that's the most valuable. So if you can have the spiritual category in check, it's what ensures that you can remain a good person. So ask yourself this: in 5 years, which values do you want to have prioritized? So by now, you should have 3 questions that will initiate the type of thought necessary. And I want you to take your time defining exactly what these categories are to you and what they'll look like in 5 years from now. Step 2, for each category, identify wins to achieve daily. For this step, follow this writing exercise format. For the mind, I want to learn blank skill or topic through mediums such as blank. Examples can be books, podcasts, discussions, videos, and so forth. For the body, I want to move my body by doing activities like blank. Examples can be running, yoga, strength training, or any sport like basketball, football, boxing, Pilates, you name it. For the spirit, I want to explore my purpose by engaging in blank. Examples can be prayer, meditation, family time, nature, volunteer work, and so forth. I want to be very clear that these answers will look very different from person to person, but it's meant to. It's meant to be important to you. So please take the time to really think about what is it that you want? What is it that you want? Not necessarily expectations that were put onto you by your parents or society, but genuinely what makes you happy. And that's not an easy question to ask yourself when you've been constantly doing the things that people just tell you to do. Take a second now, because this investment into thinking about all the goals that you've had throughout your life is going to be well worth it, I promise you, in the long run. And to be honest, I am holding myself back from diving deep into the details and the nuances of each and the importances of them and truly the context of them. And I'd be more than happy to make more videos in the future. But for now, to make this as digestible as possible, let's keep it here. Step 3, achieve your wins daily with this time breakdown. And it's important to note that these are the minimums. Your mental win, 15 minutes. Your physical win, 45 minutes. And your spiritual win, 15 minutes. I understand that the physical one is a bigger chunk, and that's purposeful, but also understand that you can certainly break this up throughout your day. You can do a 20-minute stretching session in the morning and then perhaps a 25-minute run at night, and that will be encompassing of your 45-minute total for the physical win. I also want to mention, because I know that the response probably from a lot of our highly ambitious individuals watching this is, that doesn't seem like enough. That seems so easy to do. Trust me, I promise you it's not easy. And you will definitely find that out once you attempt this system. But moreover, it's the ability to stack up these wins on a daily basis extremely consistently. And yes, 15 minutes learning something in terms of a skill that's associated with a future that you want for yourself might not seem like a big deal, but 15 minutes quickly compounds over the long span, and more importantly, the efficiency in which you learn and the depths at which you're learning becomes much more exponential as well too, because you're going to learn how to learn in the context of that skill. Likewise with the physical win, 45 minutes might not seem that sufficient, but when you can continuously do this over a long span of time and you get better at workouts, you get better at training, you get better at mind-muscle connection, you get better at controlling your breathing for your runs, it makes a world's difference when you can stack that up over the long term. And the exact same idea with the spiritual win. Actually, this one is extremely important, because please recognize that your purpose is not something that you will discover overnight. It is constantly an evolution to be able to ask yourself the challenging questions of, why am I doing this? Of why is this important to me? And most people will go their whole lives not asking themselves the question because it's so uncomfortable, right? Because they don't want to think about it, right? They want to rather just live without necessarily putting a meaning associated with it, because that might put a level of responsibility or a level of pressure onto them. But trust me when I say that if you never ever think about your purpose, one day you'll wake up to the reality that you've been living a life that isn't yours. And again, that's certainly not what I want for you. So if you can spend 15 minutes daily either practicing blocking out the noise from the outside and focusing on your thoughts, exploring your purpose, what actually resonates with you, and then actively connecting to it to be able to discover the feedback necessary to see if that's actually your purpose, that type of process will continuously compound over time. So do these daily. And I also want to quickly mention here that if you fail a day, it's not the end of the world. Okay, it's not. It's actually how you respond to that failure that matters, because Any single individual in this entire world can set goals and pursue them for a short period of time. And everyone will fail because we're all human, but a very, very, very select few can actually respond by getting back on the horse, can actually respond by continuously pursuing that journey, can actually overcome the guilt or the despair that they might feel when they miss a day or miss a few days. Trust me, in the last 7 years, I've missed days, I've missed weeks, I've probably even missed close up to a month, but it's how I responded back to it that matters. Where in the grand scheme of things now, I look back and I think that week meant nothing in the span of 7 years, right? And think about how many 15-minute sessions, how many 45-minute sessions compounded over this long period of time. That's the goal. Step 4, the very last one, but the most important. Your accountability win will be 15 minutes. And this win is in addition to the hashtag June's 3 wins that a lot of you have partaken in. It's what I have as a story highlight of mine on Instagram that you can quickly review. And actually, these 4 wins, this accountability one that's added on top, was never really meant to be too public, right? It was meant to be a little bit more private to me because it's the roughest. It's the most brutal. It requires such a high level of humility to be able to recognize your weaknesses and to not sugarcoat it. But recently, in the last 2 months, we have created a mentorship program that is predicated first on these 4 wins. And I know that these individuals have really, really committed to taking the next step. And so I've shared it with them. But because they've naturally shared it in their lives across their stories, and I see it happening, and then when I repost it, people ask about what's the 4th, I want to be very, very clear that this is really, really hard. And if it's too big of a step, then I highly encourage you to start with the first 3 wins before adding on this 4th. This is going to be the honest accountability again for 15 minutes. You must be able to keep yourself accountable. You can't rely on other people to do this for you. If you can't look in the mirror and actually be able to dissect the things that you are doing poorly in your life, you will never be able to grow. You will never be able to reach your full potential because we like to hide our weaknesses and we like to cover them up. We like to only showcase our strengths. When the reality of the matter is your ceiling, your limitation will always be because of your weaknesses. So if we can address them with pure honesty, there comes an ability to then develop, to grow, to be able to make those weaknesses and turn them into strengths. And that's what allows you to really reach your full potential. But you can see how this can become uncomfortable really, really quickly. Because in a society where we're told all the nice things, the things that we want to hear, like that we're perfect the way that we are and we don't need to necessarily make any changes, we're doing something very different from that. We are recognizing that us as human beings, we're going to have flaws, and that's okay. But it's not okay to stay there. It's not okay to then say, yeah, but because I was born like this, because this was my situation, I can't change that. That is very irresponsible because you're putting your future self in a very, very bad position. You are stripping away really important opportunities for your future self. And we also know that you as an individual have influence on those around you. So if you remain complacent in where you are and continuously hide your weaknesses, what type of precedent does that set for those that you love? What precedent does that set for the family that you will ultimately have? What precedent would that set for your future kids? You see, this is very, very difficult, but it's necessary. And moreover, if you were to think about the mind, the body, and spirit as 3 circles of a Venn diagram, in the middle, the overlapping areas, that is what you call honest accountability. It's ensuring that you meet the appropriate depths of the 3 wins. It's ensuring that you meet those 3 wins with the proper effort. And yes, you're going to have days that are off, that are low in energy, and you're going to have days that are extremely, extremely hard. But it's in those days that really, really matter. Can you still show up? And then can you still be able to recognize the fact that, you know what, tomorrow, this is going to be different. You know what, tomorrow, I'm going to be better than I was today. And honest accountability, although this can sound ruthless, is also really important to recognize our strengths as well. Because if you fail to reflect with honest accountability on a daily basis, what happens is that you lose sight of your own strengths. You lose sight of your own progress. And that's why you hear it all the time when people are working out, when they're attempting to go through a physical transformation, that they're told to take pictures across their journey, because it's really hard to see that progress on a daily basis. In that image, it's clear as day. If you can document your honest accountability reflections, something tremendously powerful happens, because you start to really identify your strengths as well. Now, I've spoken about honest accountability, but let's talk about exactly how you're going to do it. It's with journaling. I've probably talked about journaling maybe 100 times across this channel, and it's because it's of immense importance. Journaling allows you to better rationalize with yourself. Instead of just keeping the chaos up in your head, it allows you to be able to better make sense of it. And if you want to take this to the next level, I highly encourage you to join a community of like-minded individuals. Because sometimes even ourselves, we lose sight of the nuances, we lose sight of the growth, or we lose sight of perhaps weaknesses that tend to pile up. We tend to go a little bit blind to the excuses that we're perhaps continuously cycling, but a community checks that. A community not of yes men, right? A community of people that actually care about your success. And that community is something that actually I struggled finding for a very long time, so I built one myself. The winning formula for self-growth is our mentorship program that has over 55 videos that are broken up into 2 parts. The first part is everything that we discussed here, but at way more detail, and with a lot more resources and an ability to truly establish the right type of foundation, with an ability to have me there and my team to ensure that you're doing this right. And then after you complete part 1 and we can assure that you have established that foundation, then part 2 are those external successes, knowing that you can pursue them with the right type of perspective. So in those videos, we discuss everything from developing a professional and personal network, from being able to be a better student and continuously expanding your education with the learning system, and making money with both traditional and non-traditional routes, and a huge focus on building a personal brand, and knowing that I've been able to create content at the highest of levels, being able to build one of the biggest audiences in the industry, while also being able to do it in a practical way, while being a full-time student with a huge workload in biomedical engineering, and also working with side hustles and internships. And we cover everything associated with productivity and how to create systems and processes that allow you to be more efficient with your work. So alongside those videos, it's the community that really, I believe, stands us apart. This community are filled with other hardworking, extremely ambitious, but at the same time, kind and empathetic individuals. And we have thousands of posts that I read on a daily basis of individuals that are pursuing these 4 wins on a daily basis. And in it, you have the option of having an accountability partner to closely watch your journey, to be able to closely provide insights and reflections and be able to provide you advice. And I myself have an accountability partner, and it's one of the most wonderful experiences that I've ever had. And this community has taken up my own self-growth to a completely different level, and I know it'll do the same for you. So if you're interested, I highly encourage you to click on that banner that's on the screen right now, or click the link in the description below to be able to join us today, and I'll be very much looking forward to meeting you soon. I am checking the time, and I understand that I have to wrap this up, so congratulations. You have now been introduced to June's 4 wins. The mental, the physical, the spiritual, and honest accountability wins that you achieve on a daily basis that will allow you to create a life that you're absolutely obsessed with. And you're obsessed with it because it's been done the right way. And I promise you, all those accomplishments that I listed in the very beginning of this video was a natural outcome to the process of the 4 wins. Doing this for 7 years consistently has allowed me to do those other accomplishments accomplishments has allowed me to develop the character necessary to maintain this type of success, has allowed me to be able to sustain a level of growth. And if you were to strip away any one of those external accomplishments, I'll be just fine. I have so much confidence that I can build it from scratch. I really mean that, because I actually have done the hard work, and I'll continue to do the hard work of these 4 wins. This is where the growth resides. This is the actual process. This is the actual foundation. Everything else will come. And we can certainly teach you how to accomplish all those accomplishments that I listed, but first with that type of foundation first. And I hope you join the mentorship program so that you can have an opportunity to learn this with a closely tight-knit group along with myself and my team. Now, whether or not you decide to join the mentorship program or find another community or build one yourself or pursue it alone for the time being, I want to be able to support you. Truly. And if you're following me on my Instagram, you've seen exactly what I'm talking about. I would love to get your accomplishments as you're pursuing these 4 wins on a daily basis in the eyes of over 5 million people. So if you post a story that tags me and has the hashtag June's 4 wins, I will be more than happy to reshare it, and we have a story highlight, and we can put you and keep you in there forever, so we can continue to shine light on the incredible individuals leading what I truly believe is the healthiest movement that we'll see on social media. You are doing this before it's popular. You're doing this before people know about it. You're going to be the first ones setting the standards, and I'm so excited to see your progress as you go on this journey. With that being said, that wraps up this video. I know it was a longer one, but hopefully you understand the passion that I hold with this topic, with this system. We talked about what the system is not and what exactly the June's 4 wins is and the steps for you to practically follow. We went through the writing exercises, which I highly encourage, if you haven't done so yet, to now go back, rewatch the parts that you need to, and then start doing that so that you can start to implement this into action. And lastly, we talked about celebrating your achievements by you posting your stories, tagging me, putting the hashtag June's 4 wins so that I can reshare it on my page as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave any questions in the comments below or any thoughts in general. Give this video a thumbs up, and of course subscribe. Until next time, I love you guys so much, and I'll see you all at the top.